able to lock in and focus and then remember things better when you're jumping from subject to subject.
So this is the thing called memory IO. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ryan, and this is the Thunder Channel on Nootropics, on Testosterone, and on Male Performance. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notified of all future content, and please like the video. I would really appreciate it. It helps the algorithm a lot. Even comment something, comment whatever, just comment something. If you want access to powerful nootropic stacks, look, we got two of them. We've got the Torque stack. You can find it at livecortex.com, and we have the Cortex stack. These are time-tested, market-proven nootropics, and you can get them down in the description of this video. All right, friends, so I want to talk about possibly the easiest nootropic to take that I don't want to call it sustainable long-term because it certainly shouldn't be taken daily, but you can get away with taking it semi-frequently, and that is Huperzine A. Now, we've talked about this before. I've got videos of me talking about Huperzine A back in, like, I don't know, 2016, 2017 timeframe. So I've been taking it for quite some time, and I understand what it does, what the mechanisms are, as well as like how it affects me personally and how the frequency with which I should dose it to get good effects and not have side effects. All right, now I'm going to bring you guys to a video from a dude named Rundagun who talks about Huperzine A and kind of his experience, and then we'll just react to it and kind of break down what my dose suggestions are and how perhaps, yeah, it is one of the easiest nootropics to take. I mean, if you're looking for the uber low-hanging fruit, don't want to get very detailed into breaking stacks down and finding what works for you, I mean, Huperzine A and intermittent use capacity may be the best strategy. Let's check it out.
This time, let's talk about Huperzine A. Now, Huperzine A is another cognitive enhancing ingredient that we put in Seeker. So what does it do? Where does it come from? Huperzine A actually is extracted from an herb. Okay, so it is a natural ingredient. It is known for its ability.
Yeah, Huperzine A comes from, I believe, a Chinese sea moss. It's like a moss that grows somewhere in China, and they extract, they take the sea moss and then extract from it, this choline esterase inhibitor, which I'm going to get to mechanistically.
To help you have better attention, better alertness, and actually increased memory. Okay, so it actually helps a lot of times with when you're jumping from subject to subject. You're able to lock in and focus and then remember things better when you're jumping from subject to subject.
So this is the thing called memory IO, and it does get enhanced with Huperzine A. It's like your ability to take things and store them into your memory, hold them in your memory, maybe focus on some other things at the same time, and then go back to those other things that were in your memory. Aniracetam tends to help with that too, but again, optimize cholinergic signaling, and from my perspective, optimize hippocampal cholinergic signaling tends to improve memory IO.
Cool benefits from this ingredient. Now, what does it actually do? Okay, so Huperzine A is known to be an acetylcholinesterase inhibitor, which means that it actually stops the enzyme that breaks down acetylcholine. Now, acetylcholine actually is known as the learning neurotransmitter. Okay, it also helps with muscle functions in our body as well. So it's been supplemented for years by scholars, weightlifters, and just people studying for that better memory and memory cognition, okay, increased neurotransmitters. So basically the bottom line is that Huperzine A is a pretty potent choline esterase inhibitor. Choline esterase is one of its primary jobs is to take acetylcholine that's building up in the synaptic cleft of your brain and recycle it. It basically removes it, puts it in a place to be recycled for later usage. Now, if you inhibit that enzyme, what you end up doing is accumulating acetylcholine in the synaptic spaces, and then you've got more cholinergic, like raw material to bind to the nicotinic and the muscarinic acetylcholine receptors, and the activation of those receptors is wherein you get the positive effects from Huperzine A or any cholinergic. And again, you're looking at memory focus, in some cases verbal fluency, because look, if your episodic memory is better, your ability to reference things and then serve them up kind of on a platter to your speech, then verbal fluency is going to be better. Like the cholinergics do optimize verbal fluency. I just think people don't typically think of them in that regard. He went on to say that, yeah, people use it for weightlifting, etc. Recently, we did a half a podcast, or a very small fraction of a podcast with Vigorous Steve. The full podcast will be out soon, where we talked about that's one of the reasons he got into nootropics was for muscular contraction. In the bodybuilding community, they came to recognize that acetylcholine or extra levels of acetylcholine help you lift weights better because you've got more enhanced muscular contraction via the acetylcholine. All right, so let's continue. A very neat supplement. It's one of those supplements that it has a direct benefit, but it also helps the body do some other things to help you perform better. and that's what comes in with that acetylcholine, and stopping the breakdown of that, so we have better neurotransmitter in that learning and attention and alertness areas, okay, that memory. There's also some really cool studies out there that show and help slow down cognitive decline, as well as with some studies with Alzheimer's patients and the elderly, to help maybe slow some of those cognitive decline patterns down.
Yeah, so this is true, right? I mean, ultimately, a lot of nootropics were studied for neurodegeneration and particularly Alzheimer's. And again, you know, the basis for Alzheimer's, whether it's beta amyloid plaques that facilitate this kind of a lessening of cholinergic function, or it's some other mechanism that, you know, ultimately is catalyzed by these beta amyloid plaques, which characterize Alzheimer's. Cholinesterase inhibitors have been used in clinical studies and prescribed to people that have Alzheimer's or memory problems when they get older for this very purpose, right? It's stopping the breakdown of acetylcholine. It gives their brain more acetylcholine to use. They've got more available to bind to receptor sites, and they have alleviation from their neurodegeneration. Now, suffice to say, yeah, cholinesterase inhibitors like Huperzine A and like galantamine, which is, I guess you could technically consider it a nootropic, are used in people with neurodegeneration with great success as an alleviation of their symptoms.
This is a really neat supplement that we found to put in Seeker that we're really excited to have in here. I can definitely tell when supplementing the Huperzine A, I definitely have a different alertness than when I don't. And you combine it with that alpha GPC, it's a pretty solid combination. So we're really excited about our cognitive blend that we put in.
Okay, so ultimately they're talking about a blend that this guy built. Couple misconceptions. One primary misconception is, and I see this used in nootropic products all around the world, and I think Alpha Brain was like the first company that did this, putting Huperzine A together with alpha GPC. It's not a good idea, right? If you want people to be able to have continuously positive experiences with your stack, and most people don't want to do the work of figuring out a bunch of stacks that work well for them, so they want to take the same thing every day, then you just don't put Huperzine A and another cholinergic together in the same stack for folks to take every day. That's eventually going to lead to too much synaptic acetylcholine. You may potentially desensitize the response to the acetylcholine, and that's just natural neurological kind of homeostasis. Or if there's too much taxing at the receptor side of acetylcholine, well, that's when lethargy and brain fog and all these known cholinergic side effects come into play. So, you know, this guy, I don't know if he has like some sort of fitness company or something, but, you know, most people putting nootropics together have no idea what they're doing, like in commercial stacks, and that's just unfortunate. So yeah, you don't want to put those together in a stack. You probably don't want to take them together, and if you do, do it very sparingly. But that said, let's talk about dosing. Now, like, because Huperzine A is it's a little bit of a fragile compound to use. I mean, your brain's response to it is fragile because you're going to, in a somewhat uncontrolled manner, inhibit cholinesterase, and then acetylcholine is going to accumulate. So you want to be very careful with that, because too much acetylcholine is actually neurotoxic, and you don't want to end up in some place where you have terrible side effects. The dose range is 40 micrograms to 400 micrograms. And as a guy with going on 16 years of experience in this, both with myself, but at this stage, I was talking to somebody yesterday, I've reached over 2,400 clients, 2,400 men that I've worked with on either nootropics, TRT, or general biohacking. I have not seen consistent high doses of Huperzine A be effective, but what I have seen is that lower doses and working your way up to the highest tolerable dose is the best strategy. So quite honestly, if you've never taken Huperzine A and you want a tried and true kind of low-hanging fruit nootropic to begin with, or just to take for good focus, memory, verbal fluency, general cognitive processing, then yeah, start at 40 to 50 micrograms of Huperzine A. If you get tablets, you might have to get a pill cutter, which you can get on Amazon for like $4 or $5, and just cut the pill and eyeball around a 40 or 50 microgram dose, and then work your way up. Go to 100 thereafter if you don't have side effects and you feel like your brain's functioning well, but it can function perhaps better, and move to 150 micrograms and then 200 micrograms. If you must go up to 400 micrograms, because some people, depending on their body weight, so the heavier they are, the more Huperzine A they're going to be able to tolerate, then yeah, go up to 300, 400 micrograms, but stop there. You don't want to be taking any more than that, because then you absolutely run the risk of some, I wouldn't call them deleterious, but some pretty troublesome side effects, and I have been there. That's it, friends. If you're looking for a low-hanging fruit nootropic and you don't want to go through the kind of rigmarole of like dialing in stacks that work well for you, which admittedly is hard. I mean, that's why I'm the expert on this stuff, and I consult people and they pay us the big bucks to help them target their brain states with very particularly dosed nootropics. Then yeah, I mean, get some Huperzine A. You know, you if you get a 200 microgram tablet, you should be fine, but you should absolutely get a pill cutter and cut it in four. So then you're dealing with 50 micrograms. Start at 50, move your way up and see, you know, how you fare from there. Again, don't take it with other cholinergics right away. You always have to have your finger on the dial with potent cholinergics like this, because again, if you go over, the side effects that are common, they're not going to be, you'll be a little tired or you'll feel a little weird. You know, the side effects may be nausea and to the point where you're actually going to throw up. There was a time that I took, it was somewhere around 1,000 micrograms, and this was very foolish many, many years ago, 12 or so years ago. And yeah, I had a really rough fucking time. Again, if you want access to some pretty potent nootropic products, as well as guides that teach you how to use nootropics, you can go to livecortex.com, our website. I mean, this is all the stuff that I've built. There's just the accumulation really of 16 years of both taking nootropics myself, as well as working with people. I wrote a bunch of books. I mean, the Racetam God Guide, as you see here up on the left, is actually a really dope book. I mean, it teaches you exactly how to dose racetams and how to get good results. You can get all that stuff at livecortex.com. Our nootropic stacks. Look, the Torque stack is pretty epic. I mean, it's one of the most potent nootropic stacks on the market. We just get repeated purchases because people recognize it gives them solid, consistent brain energy and stimulation pretty much all day. You can buy Torque at livecortex.com. This stuff is amazing. I'll even give you coupon code 20 now will save you 20% on what's probably the most purchased nootropic smart drug on the internet. Reviews are off the charts. Go see what people are saying, decide for yourself, and go get a bottle. We've got other nootropic products like the Cortex stack, which is tried and true, a dopaminergic in its own right. Very, very potent for turning on motivation and mental energy and doing some restoration work. You can get Cortex at livecortex.com. And if you need to hire me for consulting, ranging from helping you to formulate nootropic regimens, to dialing in your TRT protocol, to energy optimization, all of my specialties you can find at livecortex.com. This is what I've been doing for a considerable period of time. Been consulting men for almost a decade, and I can help you in a variety of ways, and you can book in under a minute at livecortex.com. More content to come probably tomorrow. Look forward to live streams. Last week I ran a live stream on Thursday. May do it again, so always keep notifications on. Look forward to that, and hope you have a great day. Talk to you in the next one.